The first optical illusion toy I'm going to make is called a thaumatrope. I'm going to use this template here that has been created by one of our really talented volunteers, and I'm going to make sure it's available to you via a link in the description for this video. The first step is, rather obviously, to colour it in. So I'm going to colour in this jar here, and I'm going to choose one of these bugs to colour in as well. I'm going to give my jar a kind of golden coloured lid, like so. And here we go. And the really important thing to remember when colouring in the jar is you don't want to colour this in with a solid colour, because it works better if this is kept clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some blue lines along the lines around here, because that just gives it the impression of a bit of colour without colouring it all in solid. I think I'm going to go for the ladybird, so I'm going to colour this in a nice red. And last but not least, black spots. So I've cut them out, so just cut around the circles and around the bug, and you don't have to worry about going all the way close to those little wriggly legs either, so don't worry about that. Just cutting it out like so is absolutely fine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to glue the ladybird right over the dot in the middle of the circle, like that. I'm now going to stick the two circles together, but before I do this, I'm going to sort of sandwich a paper straw in between the two of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the jar to one side for the moment. I'm going to flatten the top part of my straw like this. Probably about that much is good, because you want enough below to fit your hands around. That would be about right for me. And I'm going to glue this onto the other side of this circle. So a bit of glue down here, a bit of glue along here. There we go, like that. And then last but not least, I'm going to glue the jar over the top. So it's like that, and the straw is pointing out from the bottom of the jar. There we go. Don't worry about flattening it off too much at the bottom there. So how these work is the ladybird's on one side and the jar is on the other, and by spinning it really quickly it tricks the eye into thinking that both images are in the same place, so it looks like the ladybird is inside the jar. So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to hold it in my hands like this, and I'm going to move my hands backwards and forwards. You can just about see at the top there it's spinning. So I bring it down, you can see a ladybird inside the jar. The next optical illusion toy that I'm going to make is called a kaleidoscope. Now this one does require some more stuff to the thaumatrope, so what I'm going to use to make it is a cardboard tube, some paper or card, some mirror card, pencil, blue tack, ruler, scissors, also a paper straw, glue, and either masking tape or sellotape. And, not forgetting, colouring pens, sequins and pretty things that you'd like to decorate it with. I'm going to start with the trickiest part, which is the mirror card. So this is going to be bent into 3 sections to make a triangular prism, which is going to run through the middle of our cardboard tube. Now the tricky part is getting this to be the right size. To give you an idea of measurements, my cardboard tube is about 4 centimetres across, like that. And my mirror card is 10.5 centimetres by about 11.5 centimetres. So of course this length here is the same height, same length as the tube, so they're like this. And these sections are 3.5 centimetres each. Cardboard tubes are of course not all the same size, so if yours has got different proportions to mine, I would recommend doing a few testers for your mirror card, a bit of normal paper or card, to get the right size to go inside, because what you don't want to do is it to be too loose and wobble and fall out, or you don't want it to be too tight so it won't go in either. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little snip along each of these lines, just like a centimetre or so, like that, and along this bit too, just a centimetre there, a centimetre there. This will make it easier when we come to bend it. Now the really important bit is to bend it so that your mirror is on the inside, like this. That's one bend. And if I bend it back towards me, see, just having those slits on either end makes it so much easier to get that bend along the line. And then we're going to stick it with a bit of masking tape so it stays like that. And I'll break off some masking tape, stick it on the top there, put it back together again. Stick it down. There we go. And then moment of truth, is it going to fit inside the tube? Yes, and that's just right because you want it to be nice and snug so it doesn't fall out. Next up is the straw, which I've cut to be just a little bit longer than the tube, like that. What we're going to do is we're going to stick it to the side of the tube, trusty bit of masking tape. I'll do that first, probably the easiest way. So I've got one bit on, and then I'm going to put a bit more on just to reinforce it. There we go. I don't think that's going anywhere in a hurry. So I've got my straw stuck on, and what I forgot to say when I was sticking it on was one end have it flat against the end of the tube, and the other end have that bit sticking up proud of the tube, like this. So next we're going to decorate our tube. And what I'm going to use for this is just a strip of paper that I'm going to stick around it like this, and I'm going to decorate it. So if I'm going to mark very carefully, roughly, where it comes up to, so I know that that bit is probably going to get covered when I stick it on. If I decorate all of this bit, and then that bit is going to be my big glue tab. Now that I've decorated it, I'm going to cover it in glue. If I want this to be really stuck down well, I am going to put lots and lots of glue on here. Make sure I go all the way to the edge. I've got a good tablecloth like mine. You already see it's looking a bit tatty today. I have to give it a clean after this, I think. You can go right over the edge, and this makes sure that you've got real good coverage with the glue. Okay, wrap it round, make sure the ends join up, stick it down just there. There we go, very snazzy looking tube now. Next up is our colour wheel, and this is how we're going to reflect different colours and patterns down the middle of our kaleidoscope. The size of the colour wheel is also determined by the size of the cardboard tube. So if you remember, my cardboard tube across the middle was about 4 centimetres wide. And you want it to be about a bit more than double that, which is why my wheel is about 11 centimetres across. The reason for this is that this paper straw is going to go through the middle of the colour wheel, a bit like this. And you want to make sure that the colour wheel is wide enough so it comes over the edge of the cardboard tube. So if you turn it around, at no point is the cardboard tube coming further across than the edge of the colour wheel. At the same time, you don't want the colour wheel to be too big either. If it's coming out round here, then it will get all flappy and bent, and these parts aren't going to be looked at through the kaleidoscope anyway. To make it a bit stronger, I'm just going to stick the colour wheel to this bit of card, and then I'm going to cut it out again, just to make it that bit thicker. So there we go. I've also stuck a plain bit of white card on the back of it as well, so we can decorate both sides. Before I decorate it though, I'm going to make a hole through the middle. I worked out where the middle is by drawing lines through the centre of the circle, which means it's about there. I'm going to put blue tack underneath, press that on top, and then I'm going to go sharp pencil in the middle where the lines meet, and I'm going to push through into the blue tack. There we go. I'm just going to push it through a bit more because I want to make it wide enough for the paper straw to go through it. There we go. And on the side. Ta-da! And now for the really fun part, I'm going to decorate it. So remember that this part is going to be the part that is going to be looking down the tube. So this is going to be the bit that makes the pretty pattern. But I'm still going to make the back of it look nice. Maybe write my name or something on the back. And then on the other side, I think I'm going to write my name. There we go. The final part of assembling a kaleidoscope is perhaps the most simple, because all you have to do is stick the straw through the hole like this, and you want this real pattern part to be facing the kaleidoscope, so these are reflected down through it when you look from this end. So you put it on like so, and then you can see you can turn it like that. And then on this side, that has my name, and that's just for other people to enjoy while you're enjoying your beautiful kaleidoscope patterns. Here we go. I'm going to give the kaleidoscope a test and see if it works. So I'm going to gently just turn it, and there we go. Oh wow. You can see all those beautiful patterns, how they're reflecting up the triangular prism. And I promise you, if you hold this to your eye, it looks even better.